Welcome everyone to this brand new edition of 5 Round MMA. My name is Alex Ramirez alongside my co-host Albert Cita. Albert, brother, WrestleMania hangover, how you doing? Two nights are in the books.
That first night, what a freaking way to kick it off.
Yeah.
The second night,
It was Sunday. We all got to work on Monday. So this week's show, WrestleMania recap, night 1 and 2. We also do have some MMA topics to cover, and also the Triller, Jake Paul, Logan Paul.
It's Jake Paul.
Jake Paul versus Ben Askren.
And it's looking like Logan Paul ain't going to get that Mayweather fight.
You know, is it because Kevin Owens stunned him?
That, and I think Henry Cejudo's stepping in, bro.
Well, we'll talk about that too in today's show. Got a lot to talk about here. As we are recording this right now, the Raw after WrestleMania is going on. So if there's any big surprise debuts or title changes, we will not have that because we are recording right now as Raw is going on. Typically, Albert, the Raw after Monday is a big deal, right?
Yeah.
When people either return, debut, they switch things around, but I didn't get the word this year that we're expecting that kind of thing for this Raw after WrestleMania.
The only thing I've heard so far is Charlotte's back.
Back.
But you can't really say that because she was back.
Was never really anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
I think the only one people were talking about was maybe Becky Lynch returning. She was kind of teasing some stuff on social media, but who knows? But again, we'll talk about that too. If it happens to drop when we're recording, we'll definitely talk about it here. But I want to thank you all for tuning in this week, whether it be on YouTube. It's a different look on YouTube right now. So if you're not watching, if you don't normally watch us on YouTube, go watch us on YouTube so you kind of see what we're switching up here. We're trying to keep things fresh here for you, and let us know if it works. If it's not, if it's too much of my face, say horrible. go back to the long wide shot.
If you want more, I can give more close up.
Extreme close up. Let us know, please. Or if you're listening to the audio, thank you so much, whether it be on Podomatic, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon, wherever you get your audio podcasts. Thank you for tuning in, spending this next 30 to 45 minutes here. But before we get started with the official show, Albert, what's that behind you, that tumbler behind you there?
Woo!
Look at it.
We got custom made tumblers, baby, because it's all about custom now.
It's all about custom.
Woo!
So I teased this a little bit a couple weeks ago on our social media platform. A big shout out to Sparkles by Val with these custom 5-round MMA tumblers, black on black. If you guys can see that here, these will be part of a future giveaway and also the 5-round MMA store. So we just want to give you guys a tease here. If you guys can see that too, we'll do a post. A big shout out to Sparkles by Val. Hit her up on Instagram, social media here for your custom tumblers. She does all this stuff. She also does this Dodgers one too, which Albert has.
I got it over here too.
Right there too.
This one we're not giving away.
No, that's a personal one right there.
That belongs to me.
So again, whatever you like here, she could do it from Bad Bunny to Dodgers to USC, Lakers to 5-round MMA. Amazing work here, Val. Thank you so much. We got more coming on the way, but again,
real quick, I'm a big fan of the black on black. I hope the black on black comes out.
Yeah.
Because, dude, black on black is sick.
It's pretty sick.
This one pops, but
yeah.
I'm a black on black type of guy.
Yeah, kind of more masculine, right? If you're drinking your Starbucks, you want to be as masculine as possible.
Yeah.
Shout out Sparkles by Val. Thank you so much again. So, Albert, let's get started with not really round number 1 here. It's going to be different because we got 2 nights of WrestleMania to talk about. So, we're going to go as long as we can here. So, let's start with night number 1 of WrestleMania 2021. It started off with a bang. There was rumors that they wanted the first match back in front of a live audience due to the pandemic to be a big one, and it was a big one with the most prestigious title in all of professional wrestling, the World Wrestling Entertainment Championship. Bobby Lashley coming as a champ, takes on Drew McIntyre, the challenger. Bobby Lashley retains. Albert, your thoughts overall first of the match itself, and then the booking of it and what happens next for both guys on television.
Dude, I thought they started off with a banger, bro. Even though we've seen this matchup before, which we said in the last podcast, I mean, I was still pumped to see these two guys go at it, especially since the improvement since Impact has been like massive. Like to me, it's kind of crazy to think how some of these wrestlers just keep on evolving. And I'm not just talking about gimmicks. I'm talking about style and adding more arsenal to the wrestling. And 2 guys here that I feel like not just evolve the gimmick, but evolve the wrestling style. So I was pumped for this one, and it did not disappoint. I thought it was a straight banger right here. You been advocating for the longest that you miss the days of a true heavyweight being the heavyweight champion in wrestling. And it's funny because like I got where you were coming from, but I have trained my mind to see nothing but quadruple suplexes and triple super kicks before I see a sun, and that's why I'm kind of that's my palate right now. Mm-hmm. But man, seeing Bobby Lashley and Drew McIntyre go at it reminded me, like, you know what? If you do it right, having true heavyweights going at it's awesome. And I didn't think this was the best match on the card, but it was a good way to start. I
agree. Real quick, what you thought on the booking? Do you like Bobby Lashley going over clean? Well, it was kind of semi-clean.
Yeah, it was semi-clean. I liked it because I try to compare as much as I can to MMA. Mm-hmm. No, and I'll let the cat out of the bag. If I was the promoter, the booker, the guy, I would straight up just copy some of the ways the finishes of actual MMA. To tell you the truth,
heavyweight fights.
Yeah, and so, but we've seen it. Guys get beat clean in heavyweight, come back on a tear and beat that same guy that clipped him. So I mean, a good example is DC versus Miocic.
Yeah.
You got one guy knocking out one guy clean. Rematch, the other guy knocks him out clean. So it makes sense as long as like the buildup was good. And I thought the buildup of the whole match was good.
I think so too. I would have liked this buildup to be longer. Really, got maybe a few weeks of it, right?
Maybe a bigger story, right?
Maybe why not like have like Bobby Lashley win the Royal Rumble and then have just him and McIntyre feud all the way to WrestleMania, had that big payoff. And to your point, Albert, like I am a huge AJ Styles fan. I love Bret Hart growing up. I'm not saying I'm definitely not the whole vanilla midget thing, but it was something to say, like two true heavyweights, right?
Yeah.
These guys, WWE has always been known as the land of the giants. And to McIntyre and Lashley's credit, these are two big guys who can work.
Yeah.
They're not there not selling for anybody. They never have been that way. They've always sold for each other's opponents. They're true heavyweights, and it's cool to see that. And like you said, to your point, to bounce off to what you said, we've seen the most entertaining UFC heavyweight fights end in like one round, in less than 5 minutes, right? But did you ever feel cheated? No, because it's spectacular fashion, right? We kind of saw that a couple years ago and credit to Brock Lesnar, man, with how he booked that Brock versus Goldberg match. It was sweet, to the point. Everybody got it. You know what? That's what it was. Cool. I would almost like this match to be a little shorter. I thought it was a little too long for me because, we're so used to seeing two heavyweight fights and just like that.
Yeah.
Francis Ngannou, Stipe Miocic lasted 2 rounds, less than 10 minutes. You know what? Good. Still a great fight, right? I liked it. A good way to start it off. I think it was the right match to start off WrestleMania. Yeah. And I also think the right guy won. I think they're really poising Bobby Lashley to be the man until Brock Lesnar comes back, and then we have that Brock versus Bobby Lashley match, which I'm thinking, like, if not this year, then you still have SummerSlam, you still got Survivor Series, those big time matchup, those big time pay-per-views that the W likes to promote, or you just have Bobby Lashley. I said it to you on Saturday, we were at the watch party. What we're gonna do? I even wanted to see Bobby Lashley on Monday Night Raw every week, like kind of just disappear like Brock Lesnar did, right? And like people complaining, well, where's the title at? You know what? No, the less Bobby Lashley, the better, I think. And that time when he comes, make him as special attraction as possible.
And it's funny because again, prior to the I guess the new era, the heavyweight champion hardly wrestled. Mm-hmm. It was either a pay-per-view or a main pay-per-view, or you did not see the main attraction.
Yep.
Because you were trying to keep him as the main attraction. You only bring him out when you gotta fill up the seats.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that, and it just if you do it right, I feel it builds up the anticipation. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, I really haven't seen Bobby in a while. I really want to see Bobby,
and I'm not going to pay to see Bobby Lashley.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I know we're talking about too, like what I know. It's because Stone Cold was injured most of the time. That's why he never wrestled on Monday Night Raw. But like, go back and what are some of Stone Cold's best Monday Night Raw matches? You don't really remember that. You remember his best moments he had, right? The best segments,
the Royal Rumble,
and also on Raw it was segments, right, that led into the pay per view. So hopefully they kind of get to that and treat Bobby Lashley as the attraction that he is.
Speaking about attractions. Woo!
I know. Are we going in order here? I don't know if it's not.
I'm not sure it's in order, but they got it next, so we can
talk
about it.
We're on ESPN's here. Raw Tag Team Championship. AJ Styles and Omos defeat the New Day. Did not did I not predict how this match would go down?
Yeah, I'll give you credit. You called it before it started. But after seeing it, how else was that supposed to play out? I mean, what a genius for whoever was the guy behind it, which if I was a betting man, I would put that on AJ Styles. They protected Omos like perfectly. And then when you finally got Omos, they did the perfect spots. They used them the perfect amount of time. It was just a well put together match.
Yeah.
And it's funny because when it comes to wrestling, I want it all. I want my buffet. I want good wrestling, but I also want to be entertained. And I feel like they were that's what I say. The first night was so good because we got such a great balance of wrestling and entertainment. In this match, even though AJ Styles can go with the best, he could have probably stolen WrestleMania if he wanted to, but instead he did one for the team and he made an entertaining match.
Yeah.
And when you're watching a 3-hour, 4-hour wrestling event, it can get stale. Like, even the most hardcore of wrestlers has to admit, you get a little bit stale when you're watching. So it's good to sprinkle these entertainment matches that are done well.
Yeah. I think, too, like I told you, but, like, well, what's Omos going to do? I say he has three of probably the smartest guys in there with him. AJ, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston. And I don't think any one of those three, we're going to let him down and make him to make him look bad.
There's no way he was going to look bad.
To me, this was probably the best booked match in the whole night one. Bad Bunny probably number 2, but this one you have AJ Styles as Grand Slam champion. The New Day have nothing to be ashamed of because they just got beat by a monster named Omos. Omos is protected. I think he's probably the giant to be now, over Braun Strowman, I think. And I just this screams Shawn Michaels and Diesel to me. I love it. This is why I love it so much.
And then real quick, talking about not showing Bobby Lashley too much. This is another guy too that the less they use, the better it is. You use him too much, he's going to get exposed. And his style of wrestling, you can only show it so much. So it's funny because, like, remember back in the day where we see like a bodyguard or manager never get involved? Like, he was literally what they say he was. I mean, $1 Million Man and Virgil's the perfect example. Even though a lot of people give crap that, Virgil didn't really get his shine or whatever. But let's keep it real. Like, I think he played the perfect part to $1 Million Man. And I think that's how Omos needs to be used too. I mean, he's going to get involved in matches, but I think he should only be in matches very rarely because there's certain ways to use this type of guy.
Yeah, and then whoever they book him against too, whatever team's next, AJ Styles can do the most of the work. Oh, yeah. They'll do those sweet spots where Omos comes in. But I was super stoked about that finish here. I loved it. Let's save this one for a little bit later on. What's next here? Cesaro defeats Seth Rollins. Hopefully can carry this momentum to having a better 2021. Probably the best year of his career. Steel cage match. Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon for the right not to be called stupid or to be called stupid. I don't know what
he did this for everyone that was called stupid.
Stupid before.
Even though during the match, I think he called Shane McMahon stupid
multiple times. So, you know what? I was entertained by this match. The spot you can see that on camera here, where he tears the cage apart and throws Shane from the top of the cage. Entertaining, right?
Yeah. Again, back to the AJ Styles match. You have Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. You need something to balance it. We get an entertaining match. Again, like, I don't expect Braun Strowman to do Hurricanes. You know what I'm saying? But what you could do with them is have an entertaining match like this. Again, worked perfectly. The interference didn't get too gimmicky. I think it was just the right amount of interference. And then obviously it led up all to the rip the cage open spot, which I think was done. I mean, dude, it was funny. I was laughing. Again, I think night one was just a freaking home run. Yeah. Again, the good balance of entertainment and good matches.
Yeah, the storyline was still weird to me. I don't know how
the storyline was.
Don't say the S word. Don't
I
say
almost said it.
A little lacking of intelligence, maybe.
Yeah, it was not the most creative storyline, but at least the match was entertaining.
Yeah, I have a hard time believing that a guy who's almost 7 feet tall, near 200, a lean 300 pounds of muscle gets bullied. So I don't know. we'll see what's up for Strong next. The strangest one for me was this tag team turmoil match.
It didn't make any sense.
I don't know why you built up the Riot Squad like that just to lose to this random tag team of Natalya and
who
Tamina.
go on and lose the next night.
Yeah, I would have liked seeing the Riot Squad to win it all, but
and like what frustrates me more is like Billie Kay has a partner.
She had a really good partner.
Yeah,
in the Iconics, right?
Peyton Royce, who's over.
Yeah,
she's over. Like what the hell? And then on top of this is like, okay, if they wanted Carmella in WrestleMania, okay, like you can't find 50 other random people in the back and have like I just added another team in there. I mean, it wasn't like they were out there killing it in minutes.
Yeah.
Right? So none of it makes sense. And even like maybe I just don't watch Raw enough and SmackDown enough. But when did Mandy and what's her name become twins? You know what I'm saying?
It's hard to tell them apart, right? Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke.
What gimmick is that? Like, dude, come on. Like, at least don't insult my intelligence and give me two blonde chicks in pink gear.
Yeah, Dana Brooke went from this really kind of unique, just really strong presence to being like just another blonde in pink, which I think sucks for her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I did not like this match at all. I don't think there's a memorable moment in the match.
I really thought the Riot Squad was I thought, okay, that's a good way to go with it, but they just completely buried Ruby Riot again.
To me, the only part that what's really sad is the only thing I can remember is what's her name dressing up like Harley Quinn and Ruby Riot dressing up like the Joker.
Oh, and then Mandy Rose falling.
Oh, yeah, Mandy Rose falling. But dude,
slipping on the way to the ring.
I can't tell you one spot they did. It wasn't a good match.
Yeah.
It's simple as that. It was not a good match.
All right, let's just scroll back up to
you'll get to Bad Bunny.
Bad Bunny. And I said after you guys, it's Mr. T, Lawrence Taylor, and Bad Bunny, the top 3 celebrity performances all time in WrestleMania, right?
Yep.
I mean, Lawrence Taylor had a whole match with Bam Bam Bigelow. He just had a whole match by himself.
And
Mr. T main event. I don't remember like that match being like super horrible.
Nah, it was good. But I will say this: Lawrence Taylor is an actual athlete. So
hey, what do you say about Mr. T?
I'm just saying that it's unfair to kind of compare Lawrence Taylor to Bad Bunny and Mr. T.
Hall of Fame athlete, by the way.
Because Lawrence Taylor can go. I think if he really wanted to, he could have made a career being a wrestler. Yeah. But then again, Bad Bunny.
No offense to Snooki too, by the way.
Yeah. Oh man,
a decent performance a couple years ago.
Yeah. He did better than I thought.
Uh-huh.
Right. But then again, he's in the hands of John Morrison, who I think is probably up there with Cesaro as like this guy can have a good match with anyone. And the reason CM Punk never had a good match with him is because CM Punk wasn't a good wrestler. All right. So if Bad Bunny can have a good match with John Morrison and CM Punk can't, what does that tell you about CM Punk, dog? Anyways, I
digress.
I digress. The point is, I knew John Morrison wasn't gonna let Bad Bunny down, and he didn't. I think if anyone understands like what goes through a move, John Morrison pretty much made it like it literally looked effortlessly what he did with Bad Bunny. And
that Canadian Destroyer was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was sick. The only thing that comes to mind is I hope that they always had planned to do a tag team and not have Miz versus Bad Bunny, because I feel like that could have went sideways really bad if it was the Miz and Bad Bunny alone. I think it was smart of them to make it into a tag team. I don't know if that was someone realizing like, hey, you know what, bro, this is not going to end up good. Let's make it a tag team. John Morrison is not going to let you down. Or they already always had it in plan. I don't know. But the point is, thank God for John Morrison. I think he did lead Bad Bunny in this whole match, but not to give Bad Bunny no credit. That I was impressed. I was like, wow. I mean, for people that even try to train wrestling, for him to do that, I already forgot what's it called, the arm drag or whatever.
Drag.
I mean, it looks easy, but it's not easy, bro. Like you forget your left from your right real quick. So kudos to Bad Bunny. Good match. Again, it was entertaining.
Yeah, I know. Last week when I posted our last week's show, preview show, as a WrestleMania post, I asked the question, "What match do you think is going to steal the show?" And shout out to Jason Hendricks of the Dos Leprechauns podcast. I think kind of ironically said, Bad Bunny, of course. And what happens, Jason? Bad Bunny steals the show, bro. So I'm going to give you credit for that. Good call, Jason, on that one.
If I do have one negative thing to say about this match is I didn't understand the whole semi-truck thing.
Apparently
that went over my head.
Well,
did he used to be a truck driver or something?
No, he's on tour now. So
a truck represents him going on tour?
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know.
And
that went over my head.
Yeah.
Bro. I didn't get it.
Main event, night number 1. Scroll down. Let's see it here.
Woo!
The Boss.
And we started off with the banger. Oh, it doesn't show. Where
doesn't
is it?
show it on there? Where's it? Well, ended with The Boss. Come on, ESPN. Where you at, bro?
ESPN.
Oh, there you go.
I
think we skipped it. At? Right there.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Bianca Belair
Woo!
versus Sasha Banks.
Start with the banger, end with the banger. Wow. Sasha Banks. First of all, before we even get to the match itself, Sasha Banks, this girl is like on a quick path to being Hall of Fame.
Okay, real quick, let me ask you this. I'm seeing stuff on social media saying now she's 0-6 at WrestleMania. Does that even matter? Doesn't matter, right?
I didn't even think about that. She's had the most best moments as far as women wrestling in the last 5 years. Come on, her in oh my gosh, I can't believe I can't think of her name right now. Bailey, Brooklyn. Come on, bro. They
NXT
stole that.
Brooklyn.
They stole that weekend. Before we get to match, I think Sasha is on a rocket ship to the Hall of Fame.
Just keep doing what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, dude, amazing. And then back to the actual match. I mean, it had a little bit of everything. I think they had the perfect moveset, a good balance of you got the high spots, you got the gimmick stuff with Bianca Belair's hair. You had some emotion, some genuine emotions from the girls before the match starts.
After the match. So it had a little bit of everything, which I think that's what wrestling fans love. It's just the whole package, and that's what we got. And man, I don't know if the whip line that they show on Sasha at the end was a gimmick, but dude, that not only did it look bad, I mean, what an awesome bad isn't good
spot. Yeah, but bad isn't yeah. So and Bianca Belair, dude, I don't think there's nothing I can say that will give her enough props. Literally, you got someone that just came out of NXT. Prior to NXT, I don't know anything about Bianca Belair. I never heard about. I saw very few times in NXT, and that was on me because I didn't do my research. But man, wow!
She was just how Charlotte had a gymnastic background.
She's a track runner, right?
Track and field, man. So she's a natural born athlete. So she took to the bumps to the ring like a fish to water.
The last person I can think about that was this good, this fast is Kurt Angle.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Kurt Angle was like a fish in water when it came to pro wrestling, and I think Bianca Belair is in the exact same boat. Because, dude, not only did they steal the night, I feel like they birthed a star. I think Bianca Belair is just going to kill it this year. And now that she's on top, I mean, there's plenty of girls that she can go. I mean, just her versus Charlotte, right? Her versus Asuka.
Well, you got her Bailey's a top heel on SmackDown.
Well, all I'm saying is there's plenty of mixes there.
Yeah.
You still got Ripley if they do champion versus champion. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of good matchups that can do Bianca Belair. But all I see is money and stars when I see her.
Agree. I have nothing I can say better. I think it was a way better match than that triple threat match with Becky Lynch, Charlotte, and Ronda Rousey.
100%.
100% better. I think these are probably the two best in the company right now. Bailey and Asuka. Bailey and Asuka. I mean, we'll talk about night 2. Asuka looks so good. Night 2.
I honestly think the girls have the same problem as the guys. They're very top heavy.
Yeah.
And there's no real middle ground right now.
There is a big. No offense to anybody who's in the tag team turmoil match, but there is a big drop off between Mandy Rose and
Bianca Belair,
right?
Yeah.
Between Asuka and Rhea Ripley and the Iconic or Peyton Royce, right? They don't have those middle people like a Cesaro, right?
Yeah.
To kind of bridge that gap between the top and the bottom and the talent wise. So
if anything, what's the big thing for them to put this as the main event? Not only are they saying they believe in these two performers to just kill it, But to me, it's almost a rub on AEW because they're like, because remember the Talk of the Town was Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa's match. And I feel like this stole that match for the match of the year.
We talked about it. Remember, like we didn't want it. It was unfortunate for those two performers to have to go through thumbtacks, to have to go through tables, to have to both blade each other very hard for them to get that type of attention. We saw here a very good technical matchup. And, you know, you and I are the same. We go over technique over hardcore any day.
And again, that Britt Baker match was amazing. But no way does it beat this.
I agree.
I think they got the match of the year.
And that's a good way to end it. We're going to talk about night number 2 coming up next. So don't go anywhere.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. Night number 2 of WrestleMania. Real quick, before we get started, Albert, are you a fan of the 2 nights or you like the 1 night? Do you like 14 matches in 1 night? Or you like 2 7-match cards?
Not only am I a fan of the 2-night system, I have always said if there's a guy out there that does Coachella of wrestling, I think that would be spectacular. The more, the better, I think.
A festival, right?
Yeah, just a straight up festival. And again, it's a better way so you don't feel like the matches are rushed. Because there's been some WrestleManias where it's like, I don't know if they did because of time or maybe they thought that was a good idea to have such a short match, or even just to put 2 guys out there just because there needs to be a match there. So I like 2 nights. I feel like there's better clarity. It allows the performers to perform better.
They have the talent to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, like they're stacked. Why not? And I love it. I hope they stick with the two night system.
And you know, make it like have, like you said, you have like a festival in the parking lot, or have some more stuff during the daytime activities between the 2 nights. Make it a festival. More wrestling, the better. Whoever complains about 1 night of WrestleMania, are you even a real wrestling fan, bro?
You are not.
Come on.
I'll be perfectly fine seeing ROH in the morning, New Japan for brunch, and then WWE for dinner.
I like it. So night number 2 gets started off with the Randy Orton versus. Does not start off. We're talking about more wrestlings, but here
we start off with the banger night 1. And we start with the dud in night 2.
I almost think
boring.
We talked about this during our previous show of like
boring.
What a joke the Bray Wyatt character has become. And like even more this, remember when the feed first debuted, oh my God, they cannot mess this up. And it's messed up.
Yeah.
It almost makes me wonder how much Bray Wyatt even fights for his characters anymore. Does he even care?
I just wish, looking back now, why couldn't they just make a cinematic match?
I like that better.
I think it would have saved the match if they would just made it cinematic. We are in the cinematic match world now. I think with the Undertaker doing it, it's the last stamp of approval we needed for cinematic matches to be mainstream, and I think they really should have made this one cinematic, and I think that was the way to go. It was a dud of a match. Dude, I mean no offense, but I was so bored watching this matchup, and I get that they're doing the red light thing, but dude, I can't see nothing, bro. Turn on the lights. I can't see what's going on.
Yeah.
Having the red lights was stupid. I sorry to use the S word.
Braun, you better apologize, Braun Strowman.
The match was dumb. The spots were dumb. The
finish?
The finish was ridiculous. Ridiculous. I don't even care that if it's going to lead to something. That's how much I didn't care for that finish. What a dumb finish. Especially like it's dumb, bro. I never want to see this match ever again.
again. Do you ever want to see the Fiend Bray Wyatt again?
Nah, dude, I'm over it. There's no chemistry there.
Yeah.
I don't care if they are very tight bros in the back. They clearly have no chemistry in the ring.
Yeah, and it's definitely a weird matchup too. Randy Orton could probably have a match with anybody, but for some reason, him and Bray Wyatt do not click. Let me think. Cinematic is like Bray Wyatt and his moveset. I've named one really good Bray Wyatt match that even the Fiend
I
or
can tell you some cool
Wyatt
cinematic matches he had.
But yeah, and then that weird spot where he pretends to snap a guy's neck. What am I supposed to? What are you doing?
Yeah.
So like he did it with Finn Balor, remember? And then he did like when one of his first moves was this. He pretended to snap the guy's neck. So you tell me you just murdered somebody right now?
Yeah.
Like I said, I think he just needs to go back to the drawing board. Maybe just completely just go away for a long time. And I don't know if it's on him or what, or maybe they give him more leeway to do something, or I don't know what's going on with his character.
The frustrating part, again, I hate to harp on this cinematic match, but you come from a high from last WrestleMania with the cinematic match with John Cena, which I think people praise that for like weeks after. People were still talking about that, and like people were still rewatching it. There's a freaking breakdown of that cinematic match in like 50 different YouTube channels. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like it has such big buzz, and nobody in the back was like, hey, you know, like that got really good buzz. It did really good. John Cena loved it. You made John Cena look good. Why not do it again with Randy Orton? Just a different way.
Yeah. You know what? If any of our listeners have kids from the ages of like 6 to 12, please let us know what their thoughts are on the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Because I keep thinking maybe like as an adult, I don't get this character. But as a kid, in 1994, I was about 8 years old.
Okay.
So when The Undertaker got jumped by Yokozuna and all the heels, and they got put in a casket, and all of a sudden he just floated up out of the air and gave a speech like he's going to return from the dead.
That's tight.
I ate it up.
That was tight.
Because I was 8 years old at the time. Maybe if he,
All right,
maybe 8 to 12-year-olds are just eating this up right now and like think Bray Wyatt's the coolest thing ever. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But for me, I don't get it. I don't like it. Next.
Someone has to break that down for me because I did not get it.
Yeah, so next, I mean, I don't even care what's next for Bray Wyatt. So what match you want to go next for?
I'll just start from the top of here, ESPN, which is the Rhea Ripley versus Asuka. Good match.
I think Asuka was showing off a lot in the first couple minutes, wasn't she?
Yeah.
And then Rhea Ripley,
the strong style.
Yeah, she was definitely showing off. I think she felt like she needed to kind of. I think she was challenged from the night previously with the Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks, which is a good thing. Rhea Ripley comes out clean. I liked it. I get it.
Yeah. It was, dude. It was.
Rhea had to win.
Yeah,
she couldn't come off a loss last year.
Yeah, it was a solid win. I don't think it came close to Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks match. And the only reason I compare it's because it was two women championship matches. I don't want to do my girl Rhea Ripley like that, but it was two championship matches, and it did not come close to Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks. I thought
she just has a different style. That's why too.
But it was still a solid match. I think it was a WrestleMania match. I think it was one of the better matches of the night, especially on a night that was filled with stinkers. I think this one wasn't.
I agree. I think we'll see what Rhea Ripley does next. I'm trying to think of some of the top faces on Raw right now who could challenge her, unless they keep Charlotte as a face and keep her on Raw.
They just need to quit that and just give me good matches, bro. Because again, Rhea Ripley's the same boat as Bianca Belair, where she's so new that there's a bunch of matchups that they can do that I think would be fun, entertaining, and so I just hope they just erase this brand, and then we just start getting good matchups.
Yeah. So Intercontinental Championship match, Apollo Crews versus Biggie. I was liking this match in the beginning when they're just going back and forth with the kendo sticks.
Yeah.
I'm like, so these guys are just gonna beat each other. I like it, and they kind of tailed off to me towards the end. There were some really big spots. It seemed like they couldn't get in a rhythm.
Yeah, I was like, when looking back, I was like, they didn't have a bad match, but there was nothing in there that I really liked. And it, like you said, like they had spots. They started off like really like in a very entertaining way, but at the end, like I don't know, man, it could just been like there was a timing issue, or maybe the pacing of the match.
Or I really think Bray Wyatt just stunk up the whole arena.
It could have been that.
That everything else.
Maybe I really just lost my whole energy after that Bray Wyatt match. But again, like it was a good match, but I didn't see it as a WrestleMania match.
like Apollo Crews going over. I think with this brand new character, you can't just squash him like that.
Oh yeah.
I also think Biggie is too over to have a championship belt. He needs to be chasing, I think.
I prefer Big E and Bobby Lashley than seeing Bobby Lashley continue this feud with Apollo Crews.
Okay.
I honestly believe. I think Big E and Bobby Lashley can have a really good match.
Well, they'll have to do some reshuffling of the rosters to have that, because Bobby Lashley's on Raw and Big E's on SmackDown.
Again, they should blur the lines.
Real quick too. So, how do you like your territories booked, dog? Because traditionally we're going to territories. Down south was always heel champion and the babyface chasing, right? That's why Ric Flair made his bread and butter, because he was a heel champion, and whatever top babyface in the territory was chasing after him, right?
Yep.
WWE always been a babyface champion. Hogan on top, and he's just gonna fight whatever adversity and whatever monsters are thrown at him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So WWE's always traditionally been a babyface company.
Yeah.
Roman Reigns before this, John Cena, Bret Hart, whatever.
Uh-huh.
How do you like your company? How would you run a territory? Would you run it with a babyface champion or a heel
run
champion?
with a heel champion.
It's just better that way, right?
Yeah, I feel like they're more relatable. And I mean, it's just the honest truth. I don't know if it's just an American thing or what, but I think the heels are always more relatable than the faces. And it just says something when the hero has to go to a bunch of obstacles and then you get rewarded later on down the road.
Right.
But then, like, every true hero, there has to be a fall. So I feel like the perfect cycle is this face trying to get to the heel. When he finally gets it, he has a good run, but like Batman said, bro, either you live long enough
to become a hero,
or whatever it is.
Yeah.
The point is, then he has
either
to
die a hero or live long enough to become a villain.
Exactly. So he has to somewhere make a turn, and then we repeat the process.
Yeah.
I really do think that's the best way of storytelling. I remember when Yokozuna won the belt against Bret Hart. How emotional you kind of felt, even though Hogan ruined it. If you remember, Bret Hart was so over, and Yokozuna was a true villain, and the villain beat your hero, and you were just to me, I couldn't wait until Bret Hart, got back on this on the trail and became the champion. But then when it was Hogan, I remember losing complete interest. Like, I was like, what does Bret Hart have to gain now? You know what I'm saying?
WrestleMania 9.
Yeah, and so to me that's just a perfect example of why you got to have these the hero chasing the villain, or the hero being destroyed by the villain kind of thing. And it doesn't really work when it's like two faces, I guess.
Yeah, and I guess to go on to that one, the U.S. Championship, Sheamus versus Riddle.
Bro.
Sheamus wins. It's another heel champion. I think the WWE has all heel champions right now, depending on how you view Rhea Ripley or not. Because I think Bianca Belair was a face right now, so I think she's the only
Sasha Banks was the heel
traditional babyface champion right now in both brands. But Sheamus versus Riddle, good match.
Again,
okay match.
I think this goes with Apollo Crews and Big E, where it was a good match, but I kind of expected more, especially with Sheamus being a veteran and knowing Matt Riddle, what he can do. Like, I've seen him in the indies. He's done amazing matches, and it seemed like a regular SmackDown and Raw match.
Yeah, you know what's funny? Like, I know that Matt Riddle's not the biggest guy on the WWE roster traditionally. Do you remember did he fight at welterweight or middleweight? Or was he wasn't lightweight, was he?
No,
when he fought?
I think it was welterweight.
It's funny because, like, he could probably kick a lot of guys' asses in the back, but, like, why doesn't he have more of that striking style? You think they won't let him kind of...
Well, he does mostly submissions, which is, I guess, what they're trying to lean to.
Yeah.
But I know what you mean. I mean, like, especially since he doesn't have shoes, you think he would strike a little bit more.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure, like, a real fight, he could probably take Sheamus. But Sheamus, I mean,
best thing was the way they finished the match. I think that was a pretty cool spot at the end. But other than that, like, it was like Big E and Apollo. Like, I have nothing really bad to say about it.
Yeah.
But I don't have anything spectacular said.
The championship for Sheamus, his Hall of Fame career. Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn. We talked about Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, a match we've seen 1,000 times in Ring of Honor, PWG, everywhere across the indie circuit around the world.
I'm going to tell you right now, I already know I'm going to get a bunch of hate for this. I think it under-delivered. I really do think so. I think they had amazing spots. The moveset's amazing. But I don't know. Like, I didn't get... Again, it could be that damn, Bray Wyatt took the energy out of me.
I think it really was that.
It could have been because after that match, I did not feel the same way I felt when I saw Seth versus Cesaro. It was entertaining, good move sets, awesome chemistry, but I don't know. Like I didn't get the wow factor. I don't know if it's just again, could Bray Wyatt took in the air out of me. It could have been I'm just a hater for Kevin Owens.
He can do no good.
Yeah, but I felt like it as a match that I think it should have been. It under delivered.
I thought it was a little short too, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it could be that I just had super high expectations.
I think
with
you
this
did.
one.
It was a good, solid match. Definitely not their best match they've ever had together. If you want, go to Ring of Honor's type library and see what you got there. Logan Paul, right?
And Logan Paul couldn't even take a stunner.
Yeah, he comes in and does whatever he needs to do, and then
he tried to do the way The Rock takes it, but he missed the mark.
Yeah,
come on, bro. You could at least took in the stunner.
So not exactly the best. What else we got here?
Another stinker. I thought
Nia Jackson, Shayna Baszler
was
defeat.
Not entertained. I did not even care for the match.
I almost wonder if they just did this as a favor to Natalya for being there for so long. Like, hey, we'll give you something, but I don't think this match was any good either. So we'll just move on.
Yeah, straight up, like I think that's it.
Yeah, and then
and then we got the main event.
We got the main event, right? That's it. It's the main event.
Yeah, Roman Reigns.
The big dog, the right man won the match.
I don't know about that.
The right man won the match.
I don't know about that.
The right man won the. I do not want to see Edge on my television anymore. He never should have even been in this match. I don't even know why he was. I don't even know why he won the Rumble. I don't know why he was even in this match. To tell you the truth, I think he could have gone with somebody else. Maybe I would have liked straight up Daniel Bryan versus Roman Reigns to begin with.
Me too.
Cool spots. The concerto at the end. I think it was cool that just Roman Reigns drug Edge's body on top of
and did the double pin
the ball. So you know what? I'm done with both these fools.
Big dog.
Next, big dog, head of the table is the winner here. Some good spots.
Yeah.
I honestly I get it, but I think it did a disservice to all three men that it was a no DQ match.
Yeah.
And you just throw Jey Uso in there. Jey Uso, right?
Yeah.
Randomly, he looked like, I don't think it made him look any good. He looked like the annoying, like scrappy dude almost. Like, I'm gonna come and fight you, and like, I didn't like it. I think it could have been just a regular triple threat match, but you have to, I guess, throw some leeway and have no rules, no disqualification. So, your thoughts on the match and the booking?
I thought it was a solid match. There was no way this was going to be a bad match. I like the fact that Daniel Bryan is showing the little switch of going back to the American Dragon and getting a little bit more ruthless with his style again. The stuff that they said he shouldn't do because that's what caused the concussion. I love that switch. I like that Edge played a little bit to his neck injury. Overall, it was a really good match. But again, if I'm comparing this to the main event on night one, it doesn't compare. I think Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks still had a better match than this triple threat. I think the cherry on top was some kind of reveal. I get it. It doesn't really make sense with the low capacity crowd. You're kind of stealing Roman Reigns' moment. I get all that, but I still wanted that cherry on top because I know everybody's thinking the same thing, that this is somehow going to lead to Roman Reigns versus The Rock. Mm-hmm. And just any little thing you would have gave us that might come true, I think would have been the cherry on top. But at the end of the day, you know what? It was a good match. Even though I wanted Daniel Bryan to win and then do like a storyline where Daniel Bryan takes this all the way to WrestleMania because this is his last true run. I understand the story. I'm not mad that Roman Reigns won. It still makes sense to me. It was good. It was a good match, but I still think night one was the better main event.
Yeah, I agree, and I still don't understand why Edge was in here. Like he didn't do anything before he got hurt. Like he wasn't a multiple-time champion. Like he did nothing in his career, and he didn't accomplish all this stuff before he got hurt. Yeah, it sucks he got hurt and had to cut his career short, I guess. But like, what didn't he do besides take somebody's spot this year? So that's it for this year's WrestleMania recap. Overall, I think it was great. Live crowd in attendance, I guess they were okay. They had to brave some horrible weather, lightning and thunderstorms and stuff like that.
It did make a difference, though, to see
live
live crowd there.
Yeah,
I thought so.
I think the performers were into it
There's
more.
more energy.
So I think they're back in the Thunderdome now, so they're going to save the live crowds for the big events. But good to see people live in there in person. WrestleMania 2 nights. Keep it 2 nights. I like it. 2 nights to stuff to talk about. That's it for this round, or this. We're gonna stop talking about
Segments.
professional wrestling segment. Good call here. We're gonna come back, talk about UFC Fight Night. Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum, a big time fight. Nobody's really talking about, so we'll talk about that next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. We're gonna do a 5-round here on Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum, UFC Fight Night this Saturday, April 17th, Apex Center, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Free
Middleweight bout, dude. This is a bit. I would pay for this fight.
Yeah.
I would pay for this fight.
Joke's on you, Dana. I would have paid, bro.
Robert Whittaker, who's ranked number 8 in the middleweight division, versus Kelvin Gastelum, who's ranked number 1.
Yep.
Robert Whittaker against number 8, Kelvin Gastelum. I think it's a little low, actually. Especially he's a man who's done the most damage to the current champion.
He's not on a losing streak,
but
so
still,
I get it. But yeah,
Google
I hear you.
all of Izzy's fights, post fights, and the most damage has been versus Kelvin Gastelum. Andre Arlovsky versus Chase Sherman. You got Jeremy Stevens on here.
Luis Pena. Always a tree, I think, even though he's on his way down.
Prelims, anybody on the prelim? Tracy Cortez, who definitely want to be a star, so keep an eye out for her. Jessica Penne, who is on here as well.
Our boy,
former multiple-time guest Anthony Burchek, who's making his return. He's already returned to the UFC already. There's a couple fights in, but good to see him on the main card here.
Yep.
But main event, Robert Whittaker versus Kelvin Gastelum. We just saw Izzy lose his build, or his attempt to become a double champion. Now can focus back on the middleweight division. He's already beaten both these guys.
Yep.
Is this a number 1 contender match for you?
Nope.
No.
I think this gets you closer to Izzy. I think they're just gonna look for new matchups. I think the only way Whittaker kind of steals everybody's thunder, and then he's the next one in line after who just beat Holland, the Italian guy. Notori, yeah, for sure. Notori's the guy up next for sure. There's no way you can tell me somebody else. But I think if Whittaker just destroys Kelvin Gastelum, I think he kind of steals the momentum, and he does get another crack at Izzy. I can see that, but I think if it plays out the way I think it's going to play out, like I think it's going to be a back and forth. I think it's going to be a grind fest. I think Kelvin Gastelum's going to get some good takedowns in there. I think he's going to go deep in the waters. And if there is a stoppage, I think it's going to be in the 3rd and 4th. If not, it's going to go decision. I think it's just another step towards Izzy. I think there's a lot of middleweights that they would have to face before going back and getting that and running back.
See, I think if you're Kelvin Gastelum and you win this fight, you beat a former champion, Robert Whittaker, you call out Izzy. And you go on social media and you say, look what I did to this fool. Yeah, I lost, but it was a close fight. And everybody else hasn't been able to touch this guy. Look what I did to him.
Dude,
look what I did to him. And I think you sell it. You sell it like as much as you can.
The story makes perfect sense. But then you got guys like I tell you, like Derek Bronson that's on another run, right?
Yeah, he's a gatekeeper. Not gonna give him.
Paulo Costa.
They're not gonna get Paulo Costa either, dog.
You know, and then you got the guy that just beat Kelvin Gastelum, which is Jack Hermanson. So, I mean, the story's there. I just don't think, unless he really kills Robert Whittaker. But I mean, what you gonna do, dog? When you got two guys literally right here, two guys ahead of you.
Well, but then like you got Hermanson, then he also lost to Vettori. So go click on Vettori real quick. He just beat Kevin Holland, who's the last round replacement against Darren Till, who broke his collarbone. So, maybe you do give it to Vettori, but then that's like a co-main event. But is he a co-main event that's not a main event fight? I'm sorry, no disrespect to Vettori, but
it's not. But he's the next guy. Vittori's the next guy, and like I told you, if Whittaker doesn't win it, Whittaker still has a bunch. Keep in mind, Darren Till was supposed to be in that fight.
Yeah,
it was supposed to be Darren Till.
He has a broken collarbone, so he's out for a while.
Yeah. So, but what I'm trying to say is there's still other matchups if there isn't a knockout or a vicious win in this thing.
Okay.
I love the story of if Kelvin Gastelum beats Robert Whittaker, he calls him out and reminds him how
you sell that fight. That's a main event fight. That's a main event rematch, I think.
But I just see too much going on here to really say the winner of this is gonna face Izzy next.
I think you're being too much of a traditionalist.
And
go with what sells.
And I honestly think Izzy's going to get another crack at the light heavyweight.
You think so?
I really do think so.
He's never going to fight a middleweight anymore. He's going to fight
no, I think he defends it, and then if he has a successful defense, I think he calls it up and said, "Hey, dog, give me one more crack, bro."
Real quick, scroll down. Are you surprised that Andre Arlovski still has a job and JDS and also Overeem don't work for the UFC anymore? But
No, I'm pretty sure this is it right here. I'm pretty sure he's on that.
He's next.
Yeah, losing you out.
All right, that's it for this round. UFC Fight Night: Whittaker versus Gaslin this Saturday at the Apex Center, live on ESPN Plus. I'm gonna watch it. It's a big time matchup,
Dude. It's free. Of
All
course,
right.
I'm watching it.
We got one more round coming up here. We're gonna talk about the Triller fight between Ben Askren and Jake Paul. Don't go around. It's coming up next.
5-round MMA.
Welcome back. We got one more 5-minute round here. Gotta talk about it because we've been mentioning it since it's been announced. Jake Paul versus Ben Askren, who I still don't know why he's famous, but Triller presents Jake Paul versus Ben Askren in a boxing match. Main event. They're actually gonna have some real boxing matches too. I think I was looking at the card. I don't know who any of you guys are,
but Frank Mir's on the card, so that's kind of cool.
That's right. Frank Mir's on the card. Yeah.
So and he's gonna fight an actual boxer. So that's pretty cool.
But this is the main event here. Ben Askren, who's traditionally known as a wrestler, probably one of the best grapplers in the past 10 years in MMA.
In MMA, yeah.
So that's why I guess you kind of see it's a fair fight because he's not traditionally a striker against Jake Paul, who is not anything. But Albert, this is going up against on Saturday UFC Fight Night, a free event. I don't know how much this thing costs. I wouldn't pay for it.
It's $50.
Okay.
So it's kind of pricey. $40, I'm there all day. $50,
too much.
Someone better pitch in to me for me to watch this.
So, how do you see this breaking down?
At first, when this was announced, I thought Jake Paul had a slight advantage just because I seen his boxing training videos and I seen his other fights, even though it was against a basketball player and another social media guy. Even though it was against very low quality opponents, he still showed that he understood boxing. And if you watch his training, it clearly shows that he's been putting in time into boxing, right? Mm-hmm. So he was a slight. But then the more I thought about it, right? And the more I listened to Ben Askren, I was like, wait, what am I thinking? Ben Askren's going to maul this guy. He's been in there with Diego Lima, bro. You know, if you social media guys and Jake Paul fans out there don't know who he is, look him up. He is a savage, right?
Bellator, yeah.
Ben Askren beat that guy, and it wasn't like he didn't get clipped. I mean, he got hit, bro. So I forget the granite chin that Ben Askren really does have. The George Masvidal thing, I'm not even going to bring up because you're dumb.
It was a running knee.
If you're gonna compare, say that he can't take a punch and bring that up. Yeah, that's dumb. So I forget how much Ben Askren really do take some punishment. So with that said, I honestly think Jake Paul's going to go in there. He's going to get his shots in, but I think he's going to get tired out. The adrenaline dump's going to happen real early in the first minute, or after he does his little barrage of punches, that's when I think Ben Askren's going to turn up the heat. He's going to pressure this kid. He might do some dirty punches, but I think at the end of the day, I think Ben Askren wins by TKO because I think this guy's going to I think Jake Paul's going to blow his wad. I really do think so.
I know you don't want to say it, but Ben Askren also stepped in there with Robbie Lawler too, bro.
Yeah,
you know he could punch.
He did. Go back and watch Roy McDonald versus Robbie Lawler. Yeah. You'll know how savage. You
gotta have some
Robbie Lawler is.
Some balls to step in there with Robbie Lawler.
Yeah.
And I think the mentality is gonna be different too, where you have a professional fighter going in there against somebody who's not a professional fighter.
Yeah.
And I think somebody they had an altercation early on. One of the press conferences where didn't he push him? Didn't Ben Askren push Jake Paul?
Dude.
Or he slapped him, right?
No, Ben Askren pie-faced Jake Paul.
And what did Jake Paul do?
And Jake Paul smacked him in the butt.
I think
it was either. That was his first instinct. You could tell that was his first instinct. To slap him in the butt. Like if you're a true fighter, you're socking that fool or you're taking
pushing
him down.
him back. Yeah, taking him down.
Did you go back and see what happened when DC and John Jones met and there was real bad blood there? No one got slapped. Someone got taken down, and then we saw some punches being thrown.
Yeah.
I mean, that's bad blood. Those are guys with the first instinct is kill mentality.
Yeah.
Jake Paul did not show that
I
against
think
Ben Askren.
it might have been Daniel Cormier who said that, like, if that's your first instinct to slap a guy in the butt after he pie faces you, you're not a real fighter, man.
Nope.
And-
you can go back and see that DC John Jones. That's what, two trained killers. That's what happens when you put them face to face and don't like each other.
Yeah. So I'm obviously rooting for Ben Askren. I liked him before this.
Yeah, dude, I was always
Shout out to Guillermo here,
the funky
Guillermo, who's always a Ben Askren hater.
Yep.
As always, Albert and I kind of hyping him up in the group chat. So that's it for this week's show. Want to thank everybody for tuning in here. We're a little long here. That's why when we talk about wrestling, WrestleMania, we had to talk about it.
Yep.
2 nights. Again, sorry, a little loud there. Make sure to keep up to date with us on social media. On Twitter, Instagram, TikTok at FiveRoundMMA. It's FIVRoundMMA. Be sure to subscribe, like, turn on notifications on our YouTube channel. Got a little different camera angles here, so make sure you check that out. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, Podomatic, Spotify, Amazon, keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate it. And a big quick shout out again to thanks Sparkles by Val for these custom tumblers here. If you guys can check out the YouTube here, we'll also do Instagram posts for them as well. Great work she does. Hit her up for all your custom tumblers here for your Starbucks drinks or whatever you want, your chai lattes, or Albert, what do you drink? Just straight black coffee?
No, it's funny. I just saw a promo by EC3, and he says, did you know that most psychopaths drink black coffee? So, no, I do not drink black coffee.
EC3. Love it. Again, Sparkles by Val. Hit her up. Get your custom tumblers made. Again, thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.
Thanks for tuning in.